guys sit in a circle, but this will work with two people. That's what's going to be a line. Okay. Okay, class. This semester we've worked with a number of different books. And in our last lesson, we talked about the fact that they all seem to have a similar theme, which you guys identified as the individual versus society. So today, we're going to take a break from talking about the literature specifically, and we're going to talk more about individuals versus society. And to start with, in these books, we talked about The Crucible, The Scarlet Letter, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Catcher in the Rye, a couple of others, we saw that we had individuals facing against society, but in particular, the authority in society. Now, what do we mean by authority? When somebody says to you, authority, what do you think?
Someone who can tell you what to do, someone who has power to, maybe like a police officer to arrest you, or a teacher to give you a detention.
Okay. What other kind of authorities can you think of, Teresa?
Your parents, people you look up to kind of as role models. You sometimes kind of look up as authority for that. Like Michael Jordan is the authority on basketball. You know, Brett Favre is like the quarterback type.
People who are seen as being kind of an expert. That's good. That's good. Also, maybe what kind of authorities did we see in The Crucible and The Scarlet Letter?
Like religious authorities?
Religious authorities, very good, very good. So there's a lot of different types of authority in society. What is the role for authority in a society? What is the purpose?
To, in some instances, help maintain order, keep things from getting out of hand.
And in books like The Crucible and The Scarlet Letter, to enforce one way of thinking in a society or in a community.
Okay. So here we're seeing that authority then, like you said, enforces the rules and also moderates behavior, maybe? Yeah? Okay. In what ways do you think that authority in a society should be limited? If we say that their role is obviously to enforce the rules and to watch our behavior, what limits are placed on authority in those cases? Teresa?
They shouldn't be able to like control how you live as long as you're not murdering people or stealing from people. If you're just a basic good citizen, it shouldn't matter if you go to church on Sunday or Friday or if you don't go at all. Okay. It shouldn't be forced upon you and you shouldn't be looked down upon and life made hard for you because you don't conform to what certain authorities feel you should.
Do you have anything you want to add, Christy?
Yeah, in other countries they can do that, but in America you really can't do something like that. You have to respect individual rights over a lot of other things. But yeah, like Tris said, when it comes to murder and things like extreme cases that are hurting other people, then there is an authority. But
right.
Yeah.
So basically, what I hear you guys saying is that in America, we don't think generally that authority should be able to affect the individual when they are when they are not violating other people's rights. But what do we mean specifically when we say an individual? What is the individual's role in a community?
Well, individuals work and create products.
Okay,
so,
they definitely do that.
Yeah. So they help economy. I mean, individuals work together to help like an economy or to help people in a society.
Definitely. So you definitely can say that the community then is built of different individuals. That the individual's role is to be part of that community. Okay. Definitely think that we're onto it here. And like we said before, that authority needs to be limited in dealing with individuals and that they can't overstep their bounds. What do we generally consider the individual's rules for society? When should they be limited by authorities?
When they cause harm to others.
Good. What about when they don't necessarily hurt somebody, but, for example, steal a car radio.
Yeah, I was gonna say when, like, there's been a lot of controversy in the news about politicians who are kind of stealing money or, so even misusing the trust of the public or misusing people's trust, especially with politicians or big business owners and things like that.
Okay, definitely. So we definitely see that the individual then has to not only be kept from hurting others, but from taking advantage of others, which then, like you said, we have business people in the courts, we have murderers who have to go to jail, and so we see there that authority has some rule over the individual that the individual needs to subscribe to be part of the society. But again, that the individual has a certain claim on authority that it must be just. Okay. Why do you think then that conflicts between individuals and society happen? Why can't we all just get along?
That's the magic question.
It's a tough one. It's definitely a harder one. Yes, Christy.
I think a big part of that is that oftentimes individuals think that their way is right. And so even though you're trying to do the good for all, you're not always understanding what might be good for all people, because every community and every group of people are kind of coming from a different perspective and coming from a different direction. So it's hard to say that there's one good for all people.
Okay, so you could definitely say that society then tries to apply rules to people that in some cases it may be fair for some people but unfair for others. Okay. What about for individuals though? Why do individuals sometimes act out against a society? In the books we've been reading, we've seen them doing it for what we would generally consider the right reasons. What are some of the wrong reasons? To put it another way, why would somebody steal a car radio or embezzle money from a business or
Greed.
greed? Okay.
Sometimes, in the case of the car stereo, want, desperation, they need something, whether that need is a good or bad need, whether it's a need for drugs or I need to feed my family.
This might be getting a little too complicated, but sometimes when there's authority figures trying to impress the good for all on people, certain people need to do things that might be against the law in order to get what they need, just to live.
Right. So basically we see kind of a divide here between what we see as going against authority for self-interest, and that we're taking care of ourselves and maybe our families, or we just want something so badly that we think we should be allowed to take it, versus what you were just kind of moving into is the idea that there is indeed right reasons to transgress against authority. Okay, we are running a little bit short on time here, so I'm going to explain your assignment really quickly. Basically, I've given you some of the questions we discussed here today. I want you to go ahead and for the ones we discussed, just write a summary of what we went over, adding some notations from the text. And then for the final two questions, which we did not cover, go ahead and give me a one-page essay response according to the usual rubric that's in your syllabus, and we will be discussing that in our next class as we kind of continue our summary for this semester.
Okay. That's very good. That was